we have begun another chapter in the Gita, the 8th chapter, the Yoga of the Imperishable Brahman. So here, in the beginning, specifically, we will hear more on the nature of that imperishable reality. And just like all other teachings in the Gita, these are not to be taken just as a philosophy or for our information, but to reflect on these qualities that are described, because they are present in us, and by reflecting on them we can also connect with them and strengthen them within ourselves. So we'll start with verse 3, where Shri Krishna is starting to answer the questions asked by Arjuna previously. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavudhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavudbhavakaro Visargah Karma Sangitaha. The Blessed Lord said, Brahman is the imperishable, the supreme. Its essential nature is called self-knowledge. The offering, which causes existence and manifestations of beings, and which also sustains them, is called karma, or action. Breaking down this verse a little. First, Krishna reminds us that Brahman is the imperishable, the changeless element, the supreme element, which gives rise to all that is, but itself remains unchanged at all times. The various forms that arise from Brahman, they are subject to time, and they move in space, and they have a beginning and an end. And at the same time, a portion of this eternal consciousness is in the center, is the seed of each of these beings. And it provides the light that then reflects through the mind as intelligence, that also gives light to the light or power, as it were, power to the senses, and the knowledge to analyze the experience of the senses. So all of this comes from that single origin, this imperishable, the supreme element. And its essential nature is called self-knowledge. So the essential nature, the word in Sanskrit is swabhava. That is the particular nature of any form, any being. And the essential nature of this supreme element is adhyatma. We heard that word previously, the knowledge of the self. So it is the self-reflective awareness, the awareness that is experiencing itself through the medium of the external nature. And there was a sage called Yajnavalkya in the ancient period of the Upanishads. So you can close the eyes if you will. There is a description of this nature by Yajnavalkya. Heaven and earth stand upheld in their places. The wise call this Brahman, the imperishable. It is neither red nor white. It is not shadow, not darkness, not air, not ether, without adhesion, without smell, without eyes, without ears, without speech, without mind, without light, without breath, without a mouth or door, without measures, having nothing within and nothing outside it. It does not consume anything, nor does anyone consume it. Akshara, the imperishable, is the Supreme Brahman only. So along with this description, and we also then understand why we need some kind of form in the beginning on our path to connect with, because this unthinkable reality is beyond the reach of the intellect, but yet we can reflect even on this unthinkability of it. Then we are told that offering is what causes origin and growth of beings. And the word for offering that is used here is a rather complicated compound word. Bhuta bhavod bhava karo. And this word, as Swami Venkatesh says, suggests a dream or vision of something as if it existed. That is the karma of the totality or God. Hence, God does not create in the same way as the carpenter creates furniture, but in that cosmic being there arises a feeling, bhavana, of the manifestation of all this multi-diversity. That is called the universe, which is maintained by God's grace, so that the souls therein may gain the necessary experience to attain self-knowledge. Understood in this light, even the law of karma is seen as a contributory factor towards evolution and attainment of self-knowledge. Brahman is not an inner nothingness or a void. The Supreme or the totality does not undergo any change or decay. Yet in it there is constant change. And this implies both constancy and change, which are not contradictory but complementary. The nature inherent in this totality is the adhyatma, the knowledge of the self. And conversely, this atma, or self, is inherent in this totality. That is, we do not belong to ourselves. What we call yourself, that belongs to the totality. And this totality has infinite diversity within itself, which is the self of all. Just as the night sky is studded with millions of diamonds, the stars. Thus, self-knowledge is the re-attainment of something which the personality has lost. When the personality is keenly analyzed, it becomes transparent, revealing its own substance, that cosmic consciousness which is the goal, the supreme fulfillment, or self-knowledge. We cannot just disidentify from our current personality and conditionings without first identifying with something that can help us transcend it. Only at the end of the journey we can let go of all the tools. Up to that point, we need to work on changing the ideas that are at the basis of our personality to gradually re-identify with this higher nature through various means, even quite directly, like in the statements, Tattvamasi, I am that. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. These are reminders of the luminosity within, the greatness within, which is not limited by the body, the mind, space or time. Growing towards that light, that is the path.